Hello, and welcome to episode 157 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Normally, I would be doing a solo on this episode, but today it is going to be an interview. I have Sierra Collins and Kathy Tonks joining me to talk about the SDBC Thrive Retreat, which I've been mentioning. Sierra Collins has been on the podcast before, episode 68, and Kathy Tonks was on episode 58. So you can go back and listen to those episodes and find out a little more about the ladies who are talking with me today. But you can also find more information about Sierra. We'll put a link to her business in the show notes. She's got Sierra Learnership Collaborative. She also has a podcast of her own called Branching Out with Sierra. And Kathy, she is local to me. Kathy Tonks, she runs her own interior design business, Designs with You in Mind, as well as a co-op, and that is called Distinctive Design Group. So let's get into the episode. You're going to hear a lot more information about the retreat, which is going to be a lot of fun. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Hi, Sierra and Kathy. It's great to have you both back here on the podcast today. And I'm excited because we three have come together to put this retreat for our local designers here in Sacramento. I think it's just a great idea and there's so much to offer, but we want to break it down so people can understand why they need to be here. So, Sierra, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are for those that maybe didn't listen to your episode, and we'll put a link so people can listen to both yours and Kathy, your episode as well. But let's start with Sierra and kind of give people a little background on why you're here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us, Rebecca. Excited to be here again. So my name is Sierra Collins. I'm the owner of Sierra Learnership Collaborative, which I go by SLC. And my business is all about leadership development. I support individuals, teams, and entire organizations in growing themselves and growing their businesses. I focus a lot on people, growing people, and increasing productivity. So a lot of times I'm focused on goal setting and accountability, and that's what you came to know me for as well. Some of the topics I'm going to be talking about today, really helping people to get to know who they are, clear strengths and weaknesses, being able to surround themselves with people that complement them so that they can work effectively together. I'm very passionate about effective communication and helping people to really achieve their vision for their business and do it with other people around them and do so effectively. So I'm excited to be a part of this retreat and that you ladies invited me to do this so I can come all the way out to California. And I am located in Winchester, Virginia. That's where my business is. And I reside in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, which sounds like it's really far apart, but it's only an hour. So I pass through 4 states in an hour. I'm excited to come out west and bring some of what I've been doing all around the country and all around the world, specifically to the designers in your area. So I'm excited to dig into the topics a little bit today with you and give folks a preview and help them understand why they should be in the room.
Yeah, and Kathy and I have both worked with you individually for our businesses, for our personal growth development, and we both believe that pretty much everybody needs to work with Sierra and learn from Sierra.
Totally.
Kathy, why don't you tell us a little bit why you're here today?
Well, I'm here because I'm very passionate about this topic. Just being able to learn. I've been on this journey learning. I would say the last 10 years, I've chosen to invest in myself. And every time I do it, I just learn so much and grow so much. So I'm here because I'm very passionate to be able to help others. And I want to be part of that growth. I want to be there to support. And then I want to also learn myself. So I just can't get enough of podcasts and learning. I call my car my university. I love learning about business. I can remember when I was terrified about learning about my numbers, but learning my numbers, it was just, and so when I really doubled down and really started to pay attention about how my business works, it's night and day. The growth in my business is astronomical. So
Yeah.
it's going to be nice to really share that, because I think that here locally, people don't quite understand that the investment you get back tenfold. And I realized that I had a grown-up business, and I had a business that I now am planning an exit. And I can only do that if I create a business that is sellable or can be taken over. And these are the ways that I do it to get to that point. So, so that's
Yeah.
why I'm here. And I'm so excited to work again with Sierra.
And Kathy, you're such a strategic partner for me here locally, because you get it. Like, we both have invested into our business, spent a lot of time, money, just trying to make our businesses the best they can be for our clients and for our own personal life satisfaction. It takes commitment. It takes time, stepping away from working in your business to work on your business. And it's not something that a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel, will naturally want to do, because they're so worried about making their thing that they do, right, Sierra? Yeah. Sierra, tell us a little bit, maybe speak about some statistics about stepping away and just really how to be more productive, like taking the time to, taking a couple hours, like 2 days out of your work week can really make a big impact for your whole year.
It's so true. So honestly, one of the first times I experienced that for my business, I was going through a couple-day retreat. It was through a sales company, Sales Uprising. And I had to pull myself away from my business for several days. And it was hard to get me to agree to do that. All I could think about was all the emails piling up. What did clients need? But when I was at that specific event, the person who was leading the event said, I want you to go ahead and set aside these 2 days, these exact 2 days, ongoing every year moving forward on your calendar, and commit to spending 2 days working on your business, not in your business. And I promise you, you will thank yourself for it. Your future self is going to thank you. That it's hard to pull business owners away. We always feel like we're falling behind. However, I can't help but look up statistics. So of course I did prior to the episode. So the average designer loses 10.5 hours per week to distractions. So that's a full work day gone. Over the course of a month, that's an entire 40 hours or more lost. And so I think about the constant task switching that we're always doing, bouncing around from one thing to another. But when we go in and we're proactively planning out our day, our life, our goals, and we know what we're doing, we set boundaries to protect our time, we have our non-negotiables in place, then it becomes so much easier to find that lost time. So when you step away for 2 days and you have 2 days of intense focus on your business, to me, that's huge, because you're going to multiply that number of hours that you're going to get back over the course of the year, and the confidence you have in every project that you're working on, everything that you go to do. So to me, everything's about intentionality and having a plan. And this will allow people to step away and create a plan and stop being so reactive to everything going on around them. So that's why I think it's important to step away.
Yeah.
I really like that you went to that retreat and then doing that every year.
And a lot of people get to quarterly. Are you stepping away quarterly and pulling back and looking at your business and being strategic? You should. Our full focus planner users do. So I'll definitely always share that. But it's true, because no matter what day that falls on, I commit to it. It pops up on the calendar and I treat it like a client appointment. It's an appointment with myself, and I need to block out distractions and make myself a priority. So I highly recommend that. Maybe this is a great start for people. November 13th and 14th, every year, they commit to setting aside time for themselves.
It's awesome.
Part of my goal for this year was to set up quarterly personal retreats. So it's a day out of each quarter that I am just going by myself to really reflect and take that time and even more so, just like I love getting together with other people. For me, like I also needed that other day for a personal retreat. I've found so much doing it already twice this year, and I'm looking forward to my next one. But yeah, I'm guarding that time really closely. I'm not going to move it for an appointment or an install or anything. It's so important to my business that I just have to make it work.
For me, my calendar is everything. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. I've been really trying to work on time blocking. If it's there, you just have to say, I'm sorry, I'm not available that day. But it is hard to honor that because then you're honoring yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I was just telling Joya that, look, we are going to meet Monday afternoon and it's going to be high house, that it's there, and that does happen to me. I sometimes will push it off and I just have to honor myself more and stay true to it.
Yeah, it's having your own back. And that's what is nice about having this retreat where it's like, it's in the calendar. We're not going to be moving it. Like you need to sign up and you need to be there and then you pay for it. You're invested. And then you have this group, especially because it's for the Sacramento Design Business Collective, but any designer who wants to come is welcome. And the other benefit, I think, about having this small group of designers come together is that we can then set up accountability if needed. I saw you at the retreat. How are you doing with those goals that you set?
Accountability is everything, 100%. This is why I facilitate so many different accountability groups, because it's so easy to let yourself down and give yourself all of these reasons why you need to give yourself a break on this and do this instead. But the moment that you're letting someone else down, it feels different. So I always use those accountability groups to kind of build that self-discipline muscle until I get to the point where I don't need other people to hold me accountable. I can still hold myself to that same standard, whether they're there watching or not. I think that is a huge piece of it. I have to mention, as a part of the VIP pack, there's 3 months of built-in accountability, which I think is crucial so that folks that come to this create a plan for themselves, don't go back to the daily grind and fall back into their old ways, but they have to show up for themselves. They have to set clear goals for what they hope to achieve by implementing things from the retreat. And they're going to have to report back and say what progress they've made. And we can help them overcome obstacles that come up along the way. So I think that's a really crucial piece. I'm doing this other Tri-State Leadership Summit right now, and I also built in 3 months of accountability on that one because it's the thing that's always missing. With any conference or retreat, it stops. You're inspired for that day or two, and then you find your notes months later and say, I really love that idea. I never did anything with it. And it's so frustrating to me. So we're doing it differently, and we're going to make sure that you take these things back and you actually make a change.
Yeah, I agree. That's 100% worth it. Because when I started learning the Full Focus Planner through you, I, intentionally had to set up those quarterly accountability check-ins because it wasn't a habit at first. But like to get into that habit, it was nice to know, Sierra's going to ask me what my goals are. I better, or like how much progress I've made. So I better make sure I'm doing it. That's the way we are for everything, like exercise, eating well. We all need the accountability because we're not great at having our own back. Part of this retreat is about being able to facilitate that, and the VIP upgrade for that option is worth every penny, I think.
Well, and don't forget the gathering that we're going to have.
Yes.
So we can all socialize and be able to network.
Yeah,
which I think
hour.
is the cocktail hour is going to be fabulous.
Yeah, just for the VIPs. Let's talk a little bit too about how we're breaking down the retreat, so the 2 days. So a large part of the days in the morning and to early afternoon, we're going to get instruction from Sierra. So you want to talk a little bit, Sierra, about what you will be covering in that?
Of course. So yeah, we have an AM workshop and a PM workshop. I've tried to kind of tailor the days to specific themes. So Thursday, the first day is creating a common language for success. And we're going to be focusing on 2 different concepts that maybe people have never heard of before. This might sound like a foreign language, but DISC and working genius, I know you're familiar with. I love using assessments as a tool to really guide our reflection and creating a plan for ourselves. DISC specifically is about understanding your communication style, your personality, which also leads into how to most effectively communicate with others, whether that's teammates, clients, vendors, doesn't matter who it is, personal or professional life, you are really investigating what you need in order to feel that communication has been effective, but also getting to know those different signs, different characteristics you see in others that help you determine how can I modify my communication to better connect with this individual. So people might have noticed I tend to have challenges when a client is blank, when a client is more dominant and they're very direct and tell me exactly what they want. Sometimes it makes me feel intimidated. Okay. So let's talk about that. And how do you approach someone if you're finding that a client has a personality of that style? So we learn so much through these DISC assessments. That's something that folks will take in advance. And then I'm going to be teaching the concepts throughout the workshop through a series of engaging activities so we can really experiment and see who you are before you even see your results, because I think there's so much value in that too, and noticing patterns in behavior. So we're going to do that with DISC. And then something a couple of years later that I started to dig into was Working Genius. And I think it's just such a perfect pair. So the idea behind Working Genius is really identifying the things that you do that actually fill your cup versus drain you. So if you think about your business, there are things that you look forward to. Maybe it's that design process and being creative, and that's what you got into business to do. But that admin, you find it so draining. You know, entering data in a spreadsheet, you don't want to do it. Well, Working Genius helps us to really have the language to express these are the things that are my areas of genius. These are things I'm competent in, and these are the things that drain me. I need to find someone else to join my team to do them. I need to find a third party to do them and outsource this, but it is not where I should be spending my time. And we all have those areas, and it's okay to not do it all. What I've also seen very valuable come out of this is Working Genius for a team, where we find out based on people's area of genius from start to finish, from idea to execution of an idea, where do people's strengths lie? And do we have someone to take the baton at every step of the process? Or is our process falling apart halfway through because we don't have someone who is a galvanizer and generating excitement around the idea? Or we don't have someone who enjoys discernment. So we're trying to implement it all and failing at everything, right? So that has been helpful too, to really gain the understanding of identifying those people on your team and figuring out, are we missing a component? And if so, how can we step in and make sure that we're covering ourselves for that part of the process? So 2 very, very powerful tools, both assessments to be taken in advance and included as a part of this experience. And then we'll be learning all about it and have the opportunity to really make sense of people's results during that. Can you tell I'm excited?
And it's not just a benefit for your business. This is going to really bleed into your personal life. There's going to be so much benefit for your personal life as well as your business. It's just great growth in general.
I think for me, when we worked with you, Sierra, on the DISC assessment, what I really loved is I was able to get an understanding of the different clients and their communication. When I have a client that wants me to ask them about the family and how are the kids and do some small talk, there's another person that's like, they want to get right down to it. And me to learn that that's okay. That's just how they like to communicate. It was like, wow, okay. I really appreciated that skill for sure.
I've been able to apply it as well for the clients. And I also wanted to say, though, that the Working Genius assessment, which I did come back and do later on with my team, it was interesting because Lily and I have similar personality styles, but our Working Genius was different. And we found that we were complementary in different areas through our Working Genius. So I think it kind of rounds out the picture, whereas like DISC kind of gives you good info on your communication style, your personality style, but Working Genius really shows what you like to do most in your work and how you can get other people to come alongside and help you in the areas that you don't love doing.
I'm excited to learn more about that.
We're having breakouts and such in the afternoon. Do you want to share a little bit about those breakouts and roundtable discussions for day 1?
Right. Yeah. So you will be working with some of the VIPs for their assessments for some of those breakout sessions. And then Kathy and I will each be leading other breakout sessions. One of the topics that I'm going to be touching on is designing a life that you love, business model aligned with your life goals and things that you want in your life, and making sure that you are designing your life as well as designing other people's homes. So that's going to be one of the topics of discussion for one of the days. And then the other day, we're going to talk about money mindset and other mindset shifts that need to happen when you're an entrepreneur to overcome scarcity thinking, to think like a CEO, and just other mindset shifts that business owners need to make to have a positively run business. Yeah.
And I believe that I'm going to be talking about procedures. And I think automation is really important for me. I have a lot of things automated. It's also kind of learning how to put the team together to be able to, gosh, what we do is so enormous. I mean, people have no idea the amount of detail that we need to take care of and keep track of. And the larger the business, the more of those things are so important. So I think it'll be nice to be able to talk about the different systems that are out there and kind of have a roundtable about it. I'm excited to learn from other designers as well as hopefully being able to assist them and teach as well.
And we also have built in some time for questions, like a roundtable discussion for questions that people might bring that they personally want to address at the retreat that we may not have thought of ahead of time. So it might be some issue they're dealing with or struggling with that we can all discuss and have a great group discussion around that issue.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, when people come, they want to hear that their pain points are being addressed. That's what they're looking for is, are they going to be sharing on the things that I'm having challenges with? And I think we've been very intentional about crafting this entire event around typical pain points that designers are experiencing, because I didn't set out to only work with designers, but it quickly, interior design became a huge part of my clientele. So I understand the typical pain points, and obviously the two of you do from running your businesses and working with other designers. So I think that that's what makes it unique too, is having the opportunity to come to the table and bring solutions to the problems that are presenting themselves, but then also have that roundtable discussion to get feedback from one another with things that maybe we haven't heard come up before, and we can problem solve together. Can I share about day 2?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So the theme of day 2 is about designing a balanced and intentional life. And what I love is what you're talking about, Rebecca, is like setting us up for success, because really aligning your business with your core values, your priorities, everything that's important to you, designing your life and your business to align well. That's something I'm passionate about, but I'm going to be giving a deeper look at a couple of key components of that. So crafting your ideal day, which I think is always fun to basically prove to people that they can live the life that they want to lead, that they've convinced themselves is not possible because they're different and they have too much on their plate and they're never going to get there. I love going through a session and workshopping and allowing people to actually figure out their priorities, design a day that works for them, and take the steps necessary to start putting up the boundaries to really reach that goal. And it might take some time to get there, but I love that people will walk away with a plan for that. And then we're also going to be talking about, of course, this is happening at the end of 2025. So this is the time that you should be looking back and reflecting on the year, and also looking at the year ahead and creating your roadmap for success. I know I said the word intentionality earlier. I'm always focused on being intentional. So we will spend a lot of time really looking at goal setting, the process that folks need to go through in order to set those goals and actually walk away with clear, actionable steps in order to reach their 2026 goals. And then finally, something that's requested for me all the time is sharing some of my top tips for increasing productivity. We all seem to have a lot on our plates, and we're carrying more and more plates all the time. but really being able to help people feel that they're being efficient, they're using their time wisely. How can we be as productive as possible with the time that we have? There's always going to be 24 hours in a day. So how are we going to use them? So giving people those top tips that really have impacted my ability to fit what I can into a day and feeling like I've created that balance between my personal and professional life and really aligning with what you're talking about, Rebecca. So I've designed my business in a way that it supports my life and vice versa. So what are those top tips to increase productivity? So covering a lot in day 2 in those AM and PM sessions. Also then going into breakouts with those folks that are VIPs and have the opportunity to meet one-on-one with me. We're going to be doing some debriefs of the assessment report. Unless someone has a very specific challenge and they want to use it as a coaching session, we could certainly do that too. It's the individual's choice how we would use that one-on-one time. And then once those VIP individual session slots fill up for live at the retreat, anybody else who signs up after those first 4 VIPs will get the opportunity to meet with me virtually to unpack those reports and have that session. So they'll still get the opportunity, but that's going to hopefully create some urgency to get people to take that VIP slot before they fill out, because I think the in-person opportunity is a good one to really dig deep into their results.
Yeah, 100%. The debriefs with Sierra are so valuable. You feel like she's been peeking in on you, like behind the scenes somehow, because she can read like who you are basically from your assessments. And so she's telling you things about yourself. You're like, yeah, that's all true. How'd you know?
I know that. Are you like?
I had a debrief with someone today, and during the call, I said, now I have to say, it's pretty much about 99.9% of the clients I've worked with have said that this is 100% accurate. And I said, I'm hoping that I can stick with that today. And I feel so good at the end of the call when they're like, okay, it was spot on. You got me. I always fear that one person that's like, nope, you've picked me completely. It's impressive what can come out of these assessments. Assessment, really research-based and really makes a difference.
Well, I think when you really get somebody that can help support you in that, that's where growth happens. I mean, if you're somebody that wants to grow, these are the kind of things that we do. You were talking earlier, Sierra, about being able to be accountable, and there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of things that you can listen to, but if you can't move forward to take the steps to what you're learning, then it's hard. So it is nice to have somebody that you can be accountable to, because I know I get busy, so I put everybody else before me. Learn those boundaries so you're able to, and so I'm looking forward to learning more boundaries because I do need them. But the good key is that I know that I need them.
Yeah, you have the awareness.
That's the first.
That's where it all starts.
That's the first step.
Okay, well, let's remind everybody the details of the retreat, because we know they're excited and they want to sign up. So it's November 13th and 14th. And the last day to sign up we've set is Friday, October 24th at midnight. Sarah is facilitating the registration for us. We'll have a link for you to sign up, and it will lead to her website, and I'll have all sorts of information there, and you can see the VIP information and sign up for that. There is limited spots because Kathy is hosting it at her group office. So it's in a small conference space.
It's our co-op
Yeah.
we have. And right now the space is under construction. It's been very noisy. We're standing up walls. We're expanding again.
Successful that you have to keep expanding.
I'm like, I still need more room. But anyway,
Yeah. So we'll be meeting in that new space, but it is limited to about 20 or so people signing up. So we want to make sure you get in. Click that link right now and sign up.
Love it.
Every single penny that you spend.
Absolutely.
And it's not even that expensive. I was looking at other retreats that are local and other places. I mean, it's really a great deal for what you're getting.
Well, and I think, Rebecca, you and I decided that's why we're having it at my studio, because it was a way for us to be able to keep costs down a little bit, because I think you and I both just know the value of this, really want to share it with our design community, because really that's what it is. We're a design community. And I love that we're here to support each other, right? I love that. I just
Yeah.
so much.
For many people who are going to sign up, it might be their first time investing in this sort of thing, to invest in their growth. It's a hard hurdle to overcome. If you haven't spent a couple thousand on your personal growth, then it might seem like a lot. But I assure you, having done it many times and worked with Sierra for many years now, that it's totally worth it. And it's really going to catapult your business and your personal life.
And I think it becomes a little addictive.
It
So learning becomes a little addictive, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I like that. There's so many things I've learned. I've learned how to be a better boss. I've learned all kinds of things.
And what you were saying, Rebecca, about it might be their first time and it seems like a lot. I do want to mention that we did set up payment plans that are available for it too. So if people want to put in a deposit, save their spot so they make it in that group of 20, because we gave that October 24th date, but we're not going to get anywhere close to that because it's going to fill up long before October 24th as soon as this airs. So even if you don't feel ready to pay in full upfront, you can go ahead and grab up your spot and do that deposit and then pay the other portion as we get closer to the event. So that's an option too for people that are having trouble pulling the trigger because of the finances.
So in closing, just want to remind listeners to picture your business a year from now. And is your current path going to take you where your goals are headed? Or do you even have goals? Do you have that clarity yet? And if not, you need to be at the retreat.
See everyone. And I'm excited to see you again, Sierra. It'll be
always
really
nice to be in person. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And thanks again for having us, Rebecca. It's nice of you to share your podcast with us.
Yeah, of course. Happy to talk about it. And it makes me excited too for the retreat now. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on. It's great talking with you as always.
Well, thanks
Thank
so much,
you.
Rebecca. Bye, Sierra. See you later. Bye.
So I hope you are inspired to sign up for the retreat. We would love to have you there. Of course, space is limited in Kathy's group space, but this is our first year doing it. So we hope to have a great turnout so that we can maybe do it again and have some other great speakers and topics. We just think that there is a need for this in our area in Northern California. And of course, if you want to travel to come to it, that would be totally fine with me as well. So you don't just have to be local in the Sacramento area to sign up. The link is in the show note. If you want to go and sign up today, that would be great. And then also check out Sierra and Kathy's information there. You'll also find more information about podcast downloads, freebies, and everything that you want in the show notes. So that's it for me today. Next week, we'll have another great episode. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.